Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime. It's your girl
Ruka
and Big Boy Sam here, bringing you another episode of Hot or Not.
Today, JORAN, the princess of blood and snow, is in the hot seat, so let's judge.
You know what it is? Let's get right into it.
Creativity. I would say that the concept is creative. Of course, we all know the synopsis. We covered this in our other episode of anime that was coming out this year. This is a alternate history. We know that they've come up with another source of power, but they didn't actually get into any of that in this episode. So all of what we know is really from the synopsis of the show, but they did not cover it here. But I would like to say that I liked the weapons that they have. Like, they have normal weapons. They've used some weapons that are actually in existence, like the umbrella with the knife, the sword inside the handle. But then we saw stranger ones, such as the umbrella that can turn itself into a crossbow. And then we had the little laser weapon, which was basically a lightsaber. But then you've got the whole people are murdering in the brothel. It was kind of unoriginal, so...
Yeah, for me, in terms of creativity, I really like the alternate history. I like the fact that they modernized it and yet kept its aesthetic beauty at the same time. My issue is when you do take an alternate history, it's hard to stay true to the history and also implement the changes you want to. But in this episode, I don't think they did a bad job. The overall feel of it, I think, was all right.
Entertainment. You've got this immediate feeling of the dictatorship being in place. You know, you had people writing graffiti on the walls, and immediately you had the army, if you will, dragging them off and covering the graffiti. I think we've seen this in many countries the world over, so that's definitely relatable, and they hit that right. And then you've got Asai, who seems to be like the comic relief. You know, you had that little bit at the beginning where she asked like, oh, which one would you prefer, and then just went along with whatever she wanted herself. But at the same time, I'm sorry, but it's kind of a bit boring.
I was actually thoroughly entertained. I think this is a story anime, not a flashy anime. I'm just happy I got a bit of flash with the fight sequences. That was really good. I am here for the fact that they're going deep into the whole conspiracy, political power, that kind of sort of stuff, which sort of grits me and has many rooms to move and whatever. Asai, yes, she is a bit of a comic relief, but I don't think we're going to see too much of her. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on what might happen. In terms of entertainment though, I like the fact that we don't know too much, but the story moves along quite well. Like the structure of this clandestine group, I originally thought they were assassins, but clearly they're not, but they can do bad things.
Character development. So we have Yukimura or Sawa, whichever you want to go for. She's the main protagonist, as we can see right now. You had her paying for this book from this little boy and then throwing the book away because it must be like a worthless book. It was kind of like them saying, hey, she's a nice person. I don't actually think that it was needed because she is really the only character here that's been developed, and I think that the other things that they did enough for us to understand the type of person that she was without putting that in there. That kind of seemed forced. But you've got her taking in Asai, which we know that she's taken her in because we've had other characters say so. We can already see that she's got a soft spot in her heart. She does seem cold and she doesn't talk much, and whenever she does talk, she's mostly saying I'll kill you. You can see that she is like a nice person. We obviously also know that she wants revenge, so although she might be nice, there is a dark side to her and she's not afraid to lean into that. But I did feel like there was too many characters that were just introduced, but we didn't actually find out anything about them whatsoever. Not even, like, I don't know who anyone is really. I guess you can say that Suki was also developed a little bit. Like, he seems to be the head of the missions, if you will. But I would say for character development, not much was done apart from with Sawa.
Yes, there was one character that they developed and the others were like subsidiaries. So I really want to talk about the group as a whole and their dynamic. I mean, let's look at Yoshinobu, who's supposed to be the head of the group in its entirety. And you've got other characters like Suki, like Hana, who are there in order to film missions for Yoshinobu. Now, I like the whole Charlie's Angels vibe that I'm getting from it. Here guys, here's your mission, go and do it. And everyone seems to be independent and competent enough to handle their part of the missions. Yeah, they hit a little snag where they were fed wrong intel. However, they had a contingency, and that was Yuki's job to deal with the loose ends. And she dealt with it. I like the fact that they showed the emotion through Yuki and her fighting that handsome guy who really wanted her, which I can't remember his name right now, and her actually not being the whole standard rigid one-dimensional main character situation where she can get hit by her emotions but she still does what she has to do. I like that.
World building. So in this world we can see that there isn't that much technology that you can see. I mean, all we saw really was like a radio. Of course we know that it is supposed to be a past era, so that's not unusual. We've got assassins, we've got magic, I guess. That's the closest I can place it right now without having more information. And then you can also be turned into a beast somehow, because the guy that Sawa was fighting, he was saying like, oh my god, what's happening to me, and he had turned into some kind of beast man. And then you've got this government who is operating with fear, but at the moment I just don't know if they have just layered too many things on top of the other, and I don't think I'll fully know until I have seen like more episodes. But it just seems like it's a bit much. There's just so much going on, and I can't actually tell you what exactly the world is supposed to be right now.
Yeah, so for world building, just like Ruka said, I feel like they did a lot. They were kind of doing the most. As I said earlier on, you've got the whole political struggles, then you've got the espionage thing, then you've got brothels, then you've got big sister, younger sister situation, then you've got love interest, assassin. And then you got this, then you got that. It's like, yeah, it did feel like a cauldron of different things and seeing which one cooked better, and it's just felt a little bit too much. However, in saying that, they didn't do any part of it terribly, but maybe they could have did some of it really well if they focused a bit more.
Plot execution. We know that Sawa wants some revenge. We've seen what happened to her as a child. It seems like her whole family was massacred, and now she wants to have her revenge. But I don't have any idea how what she's currently doing now is going to get her to her ultimate revenge. Now, we did have at the very end of the episode a man who was standing there, and he had like a snake, the actual live snake, on his body. And obviously when Sawa was a young child seeing her family get killed, there was a man with a snake tattoo, or was it a dragon? It could have been a dragon. Yeah, I'm gonna say it was a snake. So he had like a snake tattoo, so maybe that is the connection. But apart from that, I'm really at a loss.
So in terms of plot execution for me, okay, so they had a mission and they had to fulfill it. What is the plot of this episode in relation to the whole plot of the show? We actually don't know. I don't feel like we were given too many hidden things. It was all quite straightforward. Everything kind of related to the show as its own encapsulation. There wasn't something that you went, maybe that's a little link for later. The only links that we were given were characters as opposed to actual movements and actual things being done. Oh, this character, I haven't seen his face, but I've heard about him. Maybe they'll bring it up. That kind of thing is what we were given here, in my opinion. So in terms of plot execution, they did wonderful work with the music, and they really held true to the tone that they were trying to bring. I really do enjoy that, especially with the poetry and the haiku styles that were coming through. I really liked that, and I thought it was period perfect in terms of its execution in that sense. But in terms of the plot, I don't think anything really held true to the overall arching plot.
So let's go to the verdict. Creativity, hot or not?
So for me, unfortunately, it's not for me in terms of creativity, because it's not easy to be creative when you're working off a blueprint. And I know it's a bit judgy of me saying that, but I could have seen a bit more. I'm
gonna say it was a hot. I did really like the art style. I liked the the changing art style. I liked the dialogue. I thought it was really normal. Like, it felt like this could really be happening, apart from, you know, all of the magic or whatever, the beast men. But I'll say that's a hot. Entertainment.
So I was thoroughly entertained. I really like the stories that are unfolded and could unfold. So I'm definitely saying a hot for this.
I was bored. Not. Character development.
See, now, because they only develop one character, normally it'll be a not for me, but actually in this case it's a hot for me because all the other characters kind of fed into the whole as opposed to the individuals.
Now, originally I was going to say not, but I'm going to say it was a hot because although they only did concentrate on one character, I did like the character that they concentrated on, and they did make the character seem authentic, and I think that they're going to do the same with the other characters coming up. World building.
So in terms of world building, I think they built the world beautifully. It's a bit of a masterpiece in terms of how it looks, how it feels, how it makes you feel. So definitely a hot for me.
Way too much stuff going on. It's like they just didn't know how to edit themselves. It's a not. Plot execution.
Now, I was umming and ahhing with the hot or not on this, obviously, but when I took everything into consideration, yeah, it's a hot. I mean, do I want to see the next episode? Yes. Do I want to see the next 20 episodes? Yes, I'm down.
Plot execution is not. I just wasn't entertained with this one. So there you have it. I have said not for 3 out of 5 categories, and Big Boy Sama has said it is hot for 4 out of 5 categories. So we will have to debate this out on our part 2 after we have watched the whole season.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe and share.
Peace.